this would be my dealer's choice. This is my horror story. Okay. So I have right here. Okay.
You brought it too.
I brought it.
Yes.
I have right here. This is the Jim Lee X-Men run. Okay. If you guys remember the very first X-Men run, there were 5 covers altogether, and they were all broken up. So if you bought the 4 and you were able to put them together and made one cover, or there was the collector's edition, which was all 5. You opened it up like a poster, the back and the front cover. You opened them up and you had all 4 covers. So real quick, when my wife and I, we went to LA Comic Con when it was still called LA Comic Con. We bought tickets to see Stan Lee to actually have his autograph signed. So at that time, I didn't know. See, Andres is laughing because he remembers the story. I told him. At the time, I didn't know anything about CGC, CBCS, PGX. I didn't know anything. Just the mere fact that throughout that entire day, I met Rob Liefeld, I met John Romita Jr., I met Jim Lee. You know, I met all these people that wrote
Titans.
These books. You know, yeah, absolutely, these titans. So at the end of the day, we get to go see the godfather of comic books, Stan Lee. So go to Stan Lee. You know, my wife is in line. I gave her a comic book to have signed. I had a comic book to have signed as well. So here it is. X-Men #1. You guys can see it. It was the director's cut.
That looks so fucking good. By the way, that just the comic book image is amazing. I love that image.
So I think, yeah, right here.
That's definitely one of my favorites out of them, just because of the position of Cyclops with his beam.
Yeah.
The beam basically just completely takes over the.
Absolutely. So right before I got this one signed, right before I had Stan Lee sign this one, I met up with Jim Lee. And this was a point where I paid nothing for Jim Lee's signature. Jim Lee did it for free. Okay. He signed it for free. So right here at the very bottom, you got Jim Lee's signature right here. So that's Jim Lee. We got the glorious Stan Lee right here. And then there's this signature right here. Okay. This one. So I was in line, and it was loud in the area to have Stan Lee sign the book. So it was fast. It's like you slid the book to his associate, he would slide it over to Stan Lee, Stan will sign it, he slides it over, and it just went like seamlessly, you know, like you couldn't really even talk to Stan. Okay. So it's like you had to be like Johnny on the spot, like, hey, can you write Excelsior on there? And then he'll do it, and then you move on. So I give it to the guy, and he gives it to Stan Lee. Stan signs it, and I'm fucking giddy as a schoolgirl. I fucking Stan Lee's signature. I just met the man. The comic book slides over. Okay. Comic book slides over. And I'm just like in awe looking at this man. Okay. This fucking creator of worlds, you know, and he's smiling at me. He's just like, I signed it, right? It's pretty cool, huh? And then all I see is I look over, and then I see his wife pick up the Sharpie, and she signs the comic book after. As soon as she signed the comic book after, the associate, one of his associates right next to him, he looks at me and he goes, Joan Lee signed it. You cannot have this graded. It's not valid anymore. And I'm just like, okay. And they just like fucking walked off, you know? So I have this book. Okay. I'm not saying that I'm the only one that has, but I call this story the Lee tragedy. I got Jim Lee, Stan Lee, and Joan Lee's signature on here. I'm actually thinking about sending it to CBCS, because CBCS is the only one that'll actually verify signatures after it's been signed if there was nobody to authenticate the signature. The worst thing that could happen is that they can't authenticate her signature, and it comes back with an NG grading, so a no grade on there, but it'll still encapsulate it, and then, you know, it's preserved. So yeah, so that was my dealer's choice, my tragedy.
Question in the back.
Yes.
When the associate said that, did he say it in an asshole tone? As that was exactly my intention. I don't want you to make money off of this signature.
Exactly. That's
how
him
and his family.
Yeah. That's exactly how it came off. Because it's like right before me, I had my wife go up and she had the signature, but she got the signature signed on another book. But like nothing like was slid over, and that one's only signed by Stan, and it was sent off into CGC, and that was that. you know. So that's why it's like I was right behind her, like, what the fuck, dude? Like, why? You know, like
You probably saw Jim Lee's signature. I'm thinking.
oh, she walked up.
She was like in behind.
Oh, okay. So now it's,
Hold on, this just in.
This
Go on.
just in. this is 5 years of me not knowing this, but apparently she walked up, and then that's when she started. That's when she signed it. So.
Well, 'cause she saw that and she's like, "Oh, that's cool," and then
Okay. So it was a setup, fucker. He
Dude,
set
that
me up.
sucks, man.
Yeah.
It still hurts hearing you tell that story.
Yeah,
all
but
these
she
years later.
wrote
Consider yourself to the picture.
she did put hugs in 3 X's here. So
Comic books are cool.
That
Yeah,
right there is priceless.
yeah. So that's my dealer's choice is that one. So yeah.